Welcome everyone, it's Ungenita Prevost. You are joining me for day 3, Selling in Stilettos, Be the Designer Label Your Customers Want to Buy. And for those of you who have joined day 1, day 2, I hope you're starting to connect the dots. And also, I hope you're paying attention to the fact that I called this online extravaganza, Selling in Stilettos, Be the Designer Label Your Customers Want to Buy. But I'm actually not talking a lot about selling right now. And the reason I'm not talking about selling per se is because I'm laying the foundation. I'm giving you the skills and the strategies to sell. And I also want to show you the feminine way to sell and make selling something enjoyable, something that you do at will. Like you don't have it's very easy for you to talk to someone about your product or your service. It's very easy for you to communicate on social, via text, anywhere, anytime, any place. You can sell yourself. So that's what Selling in Stilettos is really about, is embodying the stiletto, because the stiletto is sort of the matriarch of all the shoes, right? It's the shoe that, it triggers people, it motivates people, it inspires people. It's the most talked about. So I'm comparing selling to a stiletto, and that's where you want to be in terms of your sales game, your sales strategy, whatever you want to call it. That's where you want to be. And I'll share this with you. What if we took the tenacity we have for fashion and applied it to our finances? What if we took the tenacity we have for fashion and applied it to our finances? We would be more involved. We would be more, when I say involved, meaning we would pay attention to our bank accounts, our finances. Why aren't we making the money that we want to make? And I shared this on Monday about the statistics. The statistics are very low. 75% of women entrepreneurs earn less than $50K before taxes. That's not a very good statistic. And the number one reason, the number one issue that women have in their businesses, it's messaging. It's the number one reason. It's the number one issue. It's the number one problem. Because what happens is the messaging doesn't connect, and it leaves you unclear. It keeps you stuck. You're not taking action. And it's hands down. And I was in a mastermind, and a few other coaches said, you know what, it really is messaging that keeps their clients stuck. And now, excuse me, I see so many business models out there that focus on the tactics. They focus on the front end of the business, and they don't focus on the back end of the business and allow you to lay the foundation so you can actually build a lucrative business. You can actually make money, have conversations about money. So day 3, upscale the art of social sophistication. So for those of you who are joining me for the very first time, I'm Ungenita Prevost. I'm an award-winning feminine leadership expert, communication strategist, keynote speaker, global connector and million-dollar saleswoman. I help style enthusiasts and beauty-obsessed women entrepreneurs 10x their feminine power, selling power, and earning power by mastering their message, market, positioning, and packaging. That's it. And I am here, like I said on Monday, I'm here to increase your net worth. And that's a bold statement, but I'm borrowing it from the billionaire himself, Warren Buffett. And he said to increase your net worth by 50%, hone your communication skills. So everything that I do, it's actually rooted in communication. Everything that I do. That's the foundation. So yesterday, and by the way, those of you who have the homework, please participate, do the homework. Take advantage of this opportunity. Remember, I'm inviting you into my business saloon, and you're able to sample so many different, I'll say, the merchandise, right? So take advantage of that. The last time I did this training, again, women walked away with breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough, and someone said that they started booking phone calls. They actually discovered new leads that they no longer, they completely forgot about. So not only did I increase their lead generation strategy, I helped them with their selling strategy because I provided step-by-step process to take people online to offline, a phone conversation. Networking, I think she said networking was tenfold and communication was tenfold. So there you go. So if you're not taking advantage of this training, and especially those of you that, you might be in the position right now where you're saying, oh, I've invested in so many programs and I've worked with, ABC, XYZ in the industry, and I don't know what else to do. And this all sounds the same. I'm going to tell you something. On the surface, it might sound the same. It might, look the same, but you want to be very careful because the results that I'm producing for women right now, it's actually, it's shocking because I have business women, okay, very sophisticated, classy, highly educated women that are experiencing levels in their business that they've never experienced before because of my training. So obviously I'm doing something different behind the scenes. So that's what this is about. So yesterday we talked about all of the different pieces that go into your messaging. Every single piece. I think I shared 10. There are actually about 20 pieces that you should have in your collection. They don't have to, you don't have to have them overnight. I think it's important to build them over time. And then some are very specific, like the speaker kit, right? That's very specific. Your story, your LinkedIn profile, obviously your social profiles, that's a priority. Your selling process. Like for those of you who are selling, right? Like you have something to sell, you should have your sales process with you. Write it out. I actually gave many of you a copy of I Close, which is my sales script. And it's very simple. It's just a series of questions. I close. I think it's 5, 6 steps. Very simple. I want you to stop thinking about sales from the standpoint of it's slimy, it's sleazy, I don't have to sell, people are supposed to come to me, and then it keeps you broke. I want to shift the narrative around selling. So messaging is like the precursor. It's actually, I never thought about this. This is the first time I'm actually going to share this. It's actually the mannequin. It's the mannequin. You know, like you walk by the store and you see the mannequin, and I'm notorious. Okay. They always get me with the mannequin. And the funny thing about me is I actually can't wear what's on the mannequin. Like it's very rare that I can wear what's on the mannequin because the mannequin's normally tall and I'm like about 5'3", 5'4", like, you know, standing straight after Pilates, right? So the mannequin, it doesn't always fit. The clothes on the mannequin, they don't always work for me, but they always get me with the mannequins. And it's funny because I used to dress mannequins at Wet Seal when I was the fashion merchandiser, and I would dress mannequins, and I love dressing mannequins. And you know, they're tall and they're thin, and you know, you put, you know, this, you know, you can put anything on the mannequins and make it look good. So think of your messaging like the mannequin, and that's how you're going to capture people with that message. And you're going to bring them into, guess what, your store. And you're going to introduce them to all of your amazing offers and work that you do. You see? And then once you have the messaging down, your one-liner, right? All of your accessories, your story, the pain points of your clients, their frustrations. You understand your market because you've actually honed in on your messaging. And all of that will create a solid communication plan. And with a solid communication plan, here's what happens. You create all of your content based on the messaging. So the pain points. Notice I say often stuck status. Because when women come to me, they come to me because they're stuck. I talk about women that are struggling with closing sales. It doesn't matter what amount of money. They're just struggling closing sales. They're uncomfortable about selling. So I talk about sales. Talk about marketing. I talk about packaging yourself, right? Because that's so important in this commoditized era, right? There's so many commoditized experts. You have to be packaged. So all I do is take all of my messaging ingredients, all of the pieces, the collection, and that's how I go to social. And I create everything based on that. So when I say scroll stopping content, what that means is it's not about hundreds of fans, you know, followers and likes and all of that stuff. That's not what it's about. It's about being so clear, compelling, and articulate that people know what you do and you're in the position to engage with them. And the most important number when it comes to social, it's the engagement number. How many people are you actually engaging with? Because when you engage, that creates opportunities. Opportunities lead to income. So instead of looking at someone like they're a customer, look at them like they are a human being, right? That you want to get to know and you want to connect with. Because everyone's not going to be your customer. However, they may be a referral source for you. They may be a joint venture partner. They might even invite you to their podcast, refer you to a speaking engagement. So don't be so broad in that process. And I see this so often. Women on social, they don't want to socialize. It's so funny, right? Social media. They don't want to socialize because they think, well, I'm only going to socialize with people that are my clients or people that I know are going to buy from me. And if they're not going to buy from me, I'm not going to socialize with them. Well, that strategy will keep you, that will keep you probably in the 75%. Okay. And I'm very transparent about the numbers because I know I've been in those situations. I know what people are making. I know what people are not making. I know what people are telling the truth, and I know how people fudge the numbers. I've been in the masterminds. I have, you know, associates that make a lot of money in this industry. And I think I shared this on one of my trainings. One coach, she has something like a 10% profit margin, and she goes out and shares that her business is at about 7 figures. So essentially she's netting, okay, she's netting 100K, but she's, you know, she's bringing in $1 million. Now, you do the math on that. I'm not going to talk about math today, but going back to why this piece is so important, and it's the foundation, and it's the one and only driver to move your business forward right now. Because if you are in a position where you cannot afford to build a flawless and profitable marketing funnel, you cannot invest thousands of dollars in Facebook ads, you don't have the team to support you, then why not like go back to business 101 and hone your communication skills, look at your message, and get serious with yourself. It's not working. Why do you think? And you know, I share that I've been in this business for a very long time, but I had to take a step back because I realized that the market was so crowded, and there was no way that I could be subpar in my messaging. I could not be vague. I could not be, you know, haphazard, fly by the seat of my pants. No, can't do that now. The market is so crowded. So I took a step back. I said, no videos, no blog, nothing. And I worked behind the scenes. And I'll tell you, you know what changed for me? When I built my business on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn will turn you into a pro. And it was my engagement sequence that changed everything. Because I learned how to take people from LinkedIn, sometimes in a matter of 48 to 72 hours, and I would close them. So there was no reason for me to be on Facebook. There was no reason for me to do videos. I made it to 6 figures. And there was no reason for me to, you know, brag about, oh, I'm so great, I'm so wonderful, and look at me. No, there's no reason for me to do that, because I was actually behind the scenes, and I was actually, you know, working. And then what I did was I started to share with my clients, and I started creating their messaging and their engagement sequences. And then I thought, whoa, I'm onto something. But I didn't rush back online. I still have yet to do another video, by the way. Now people are wondering, where are the videos? Like, I'm repurposing videos because, again, I'm going to decide when I'm ready to do a video shortly. But I was very strategic because I thought, no, you can't do this. You can't just, you know, you can't. When you go out there, people need to know what you do. People need to understand it. You have to be clear, compelling, and articulate. So what are your accessories? I mentioned LinkedIn. LinkedIn was my #1, still is actually. I mean, I've taken the time to really put energy into Facebook because it's more of a brand marketing strategy. You know, everyone's on Facebook, and it's really good to have, you know, visibility on Facebook. So I do the Facebook thing, but, you know, I have to tell you, sometimes I feel like, why bother? Because it's so much easier for me on LinkedIn. But, you know, same thing with Instagram. I think the last time I did Instagram, I was in France. I think the last post I was in Paris. And I haven't posted since because I said, you know what? I'm just going to focus on what's working. I'm going to leave ego aside. And I'm going to go behind the scenes. It's like making a beautiful gown, you know, and that's what I did. So now I'm starting to come out and share from a whole new perspective, new messaging, new point of view, conviction, right? I have a very strong viewpoint. So market aligns with me or not, and I'm okay with that. So your accessories are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitter, podcasts. By the way, I'm launching a podcast. I can't wait for that. Oh my gosh, I'm excited. So all of this is actually the precursor to the podcast. So that's what I love, because I love speaking, and I'm going to have a podcast. Oh my gosh, it's going to be fun. Blog and email. So those are your accessories and communication channels. So you want to make sure that you have all of your messaging that leads to your content, right? And then you back that by a solid communication plan. And that's the process to lead you to social. That's actually the social selling process. So I wanted to share a couple things. I have my notes here. And I wanted to make sure that I cover everything. So I was actually, right before this call, I was messaging a client in France, and I was sharing with her, you know, that one of the reasons I love my work so much is because I love the fact that I'm one of the few people that actually works on, you know, I work behind the scenes, and I like all the beauty and glamour, and, you know, come on, I mean, who's going to top me in the beauty and the glamour? Like, you know, I think I have that down, but I love to deal with the ugly truth, you know? And I was sharing with her that this is right. I mean, this is really getting me excited. And I'm actually I'm going to expand Message Makeover, you know, and right now I'm wondering if Message Makeover, you know, is sort of giving Selling in Stilettos like a run for her money. And those of you who've actually participated in Message Makeover, I'm going to ask you, like, what do you think? Do you like Message Makeover better than Selling in Stilettos? You'll probably say yes, because once you get your messaging, you can sell, right? And then you can work on all the other stuff. But there's this thing right now that we go through in business because of, you know, this era of innovation and disruption, right? We want to make sure that we create something really good. So we work on creating. And what happens is we stay in creation. And I know I've experienced this before, right? Like when I first created Selling in Stilettos, like I sat on it for months, okay? I used to take it to masterminds, and I tell people, I want to launch this program. What do you think of this? But here's the deal. You know, once you create something and you get it to, like it's sort of like a dress, right? We'll go back to fashion. So you create this beautiful gown, and it's ready, right? It's ready to be worn. You know, take it to the market, take it to the runway. And you have to learn how to do that with your work, because if you stay in creation mode, you will be in creation mode forever and ever and ever. Amen. But creation mode won't do much for your bank account. And oh, by the way, this is something that women tell me a lot. They'll say, I'm working on my online course, and it's going to launch in 6 months. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm working part-time, and I don't really have a lot of money, because they're so focused on creating. And you know what? They're creating something that they don't know that they're going to actually sell. They don't really have the data. They don't have the research and development. And I'll tell you, if you are a solopreneur and you are serious about growing your business, the easiest way to do research and development is actually to put a message out and see how it lands on people. Because you'll start to see people will gravitate, people will you know, stay away from it. I mean, that's how I changed my messaging, because I realized that I was communicating with the wrong audience. And I was trying to get an audience that wasn't interested in beauty and fashion and style and glamour. I was trying to get them to come over and join me. But they couldn't see past the beauty, the fashion, the style, and the glamour. They couldn't see past that because they're not interested in that. They're not my people. So I just said, you know what, enough. I'm done. I can't take this. This is silly. You know, you're going to judge me because of a brand called Selling in Stilettos, or because I just use the word beauty a little bit more than most people. Quite interesting. So again, market research. And the easiest way to do market research is to get your messages out there. You know, once you're convinced, you know, this is a pretty good message. And it's not about being perfect, because your purpose should trump your perfectionism. Like right now, like my purpose is front and center. So I do the work. I produce. I think it's pretty good. I think it's marketable. I put it out there. Because I'm all about purpose. I'm living my purpose. I got to get it out. I got to get it out. And I shared this with one of my clients. I said, you know what's so funny? I spent the last week, I think it was week before last, working on my new engagement sequence. And let me tell you, it is by far my best engagement sequence. It trumps all the other engagement sequences. But the only reason I was able to get to this point was because of all of the messages that I created on LinkedIn for years and years, and I monetized, and then I continue to evolve. So now I understand the market. Obviously, I've closed quite a bit of sales, so I know which messages work, and that's given me the confidence to create a bigger campaign. And I'll kid you not, I posted something on my Facebook that someone sent to me, because in my new campaign, I send out videos. And I love that she responded that she was like, oh, thought that I was being, you know, a bit dubious because of the word selling in stilettos. And then when she watched the video, notice how, if you read the post, she changed her opinion. But she was judging me, right? She was judging me. So that's why you want to get it out there, because you're going to start to attract people. You'll know who you're, and I'm very adamant about buying avatars versus ideal clients, because I have a lot of ideal clients. I have so many ideal clients that have never signed up for a product or service. They've never bought a t-shirt from my fashion line. They've never signed up for, you know, even a strategy session, a LinkedIn makeover, or the message makeover, or selling in stilettos. Like they haven't signed up for any of those, right? But I know that they're my ideal client. I've actually filled out the assessment probably a zillion times, but they're not buyers. So I focus on my buying avatar. That person who actually pays me money. And that's the most important person in terms of marketing. In terms of your messaging, you want to communicate to that person. So moving right along, and remember what I said, chase purpose over perfection. You know, all of you that talk about finding your purpose, living your purpose, get your messages out there, and you'll discover your purpose, and you'll start to see people align with you. Okay, so I'm going to break down the 7 C's, but before I do that, I want you to look at your socials, and I want you to get very honest with yourself. You know, are you operating at a mass market level, meaning, you know, like a Forever 21 or an H&M? Are you a luxury brand or couture? Like when you look at your socials, honestly. And I'll be honest, my Instagram is not couture. You know, I'm not on Instagram right now. You can follow me though on Instagram, Ungenita Prevost, because we are working on the strategy. We actually have the strategy, and it's really good. I'll give you a sneak peek of the strategy on Instagram. So cool. So my Instagram strategy, I'm going to do IGTV. So there will be videos. I'm going to do videos. And then I'm going to have a mix of business tips. I'm going to give a beauty tip. I'm going to do, oh, I know what, because I actually am part of Forbes Coaches Council, I'm going to start to tie in the articles. So I'll start to tie in that. And I will share all of the services that I offer. So I'll share a little bit of that. And then I'm going to do testimonials and a woman of influence. So, you know, I use Jennifer Lopez a lot, but I'm going to use other women like Serena Williams, Meghan Markle, obviously Oprah Winfrey. I'm going to highlight other women, you know, that are in the public, powerful women. But like I said, I'm going to show testimonies of clients that I work with. So I'm really excited about it. But we're not quite ready to head over there. Soon. My team will be over there, and we'll start to put that together. So we'll have stories and we'll have posts, and it's going to be amazing. So the reason why I'm sharing that is because I want you to see that I'm not in a rush. You see, my ego's not attached. It's okay, right? Because I'm still making money. I still have a business. But I want to make sure that I do it the right way. And it's also time, because I just created a new campaign on LinkedIn, and I was invited to join a group, to run a group. I think it's called the Women Influencers Network on LinkedIn. So that just launched. So I'm doing so many things on LinkedIn that, you know, I have to be mindful of my time. So right now I'm going back to LinkedIn. We're going to update the strategy. We're going to join forces with a couple other organizations and get back to a strong lead generation strategy on LinkedIn. So you have to look at your business in a way that serves you, and make money-making task a priority. And right now, it's always been, LinkedIn has always been very good to me. So I can't lose sight of that. That's why I said it's time to up level. So I see so many of you like trying to do all of the platform, like you're everywhere, and it looks subpar. It looks, you know, mass market. Like pick 3, 4 at the most. Like I have a presence on Pinterest. I don't go on Pinterest. I have a beautiful Pinterest, but I built the Pinterest really for brand marketing purposes, and that's it. I walked away from it. I don't really use it. So you have to decide, you know, how are you going to spend your time? How are you going to distribute this content? And how are you going to engage with your buying avatar? So moving along to the dressing room technique. So I talked about this yesterday. You go into the mall, you go into a boutique, and the first thing that they do is they smile and they say hello. And they're so quick to invite you into the dressing room. And that's because they want you to sample. They want you to try it on, because they know, right? They even have special mirrors in the store to make sure you look good, so you'll buy the clothes. And sometimes I don't feel like trying things on. Like I'm at the point where I can look at something and know, okay, that's not going to look good on me. That's not going to look good. That will look good on me. And I can buy it. But they want you in that dressing room because they want you to sample, and they know the more clothes you try on, the more clothes you're going to buy, right? So I talked about that yesterday regarding your offer and aligning your offer with a sample. So selling in stilettos, Be the designer label your customers want to buy. This is a sample. I have invited you in. You are now in my dressing room, right? But I thought about this when it comes to content, because we're so focused on creating content and then just throwing content out there, and everyone's, say, oh, content is king. I think I wrote this down. Oh my gosh, I have to try to find it. I wrote this down about content is king, but communication is queen. Okay? Like, that's queen, to have a communication strategy, to be able to communicate anytime, anywhere, any place in the world. Okay? That's so refreshing. So going back to the dressing room technique and applying it to content, how many times do you try it on? So how many times should you try on your content before you take it to market? And I say once. I know that sounds crazy, but here's why. Once you create a piece, okay, and I said content, but I'll also say works, whatever your thing is. So once you create it and it's ready to go, right? Just once. That's all you need to do. You just need to try it on one time, right? And then you take it to market. Because the minute you take it to market and distribute it, you can sell it. If it's not working, you can go back to the drawing board and test, track, and tweak. I know women that sell books. Actually, a woman in a mastermind, she's selling a book right now and she's still writing the book. It's amazing. Like, that's what I mean, right? She's marketing the book. She changed all her branding to showcase that she's an author now. And she's still writing the book. And if you go on Amazon, I think it says something like April of 2020. But she's selling a book. And she's very transparent that you buy the book now, you'll get a special, so she's doing a special offer, but she's letting everyone know, I'm still writing the book. How cool is that, right? But that's the point. You see, that's a powerful woman, because she understands, right? She's like, okay, I'm gonna continue to write the book, but I'm gonna lead with the marketing. So, she's marketing like 6 months in advance, and she's finishing the book. So she's going to have tons of sales by the time the book finished, the book is complete. So how many times should you walk around the store? So this is really my analogy in terms of how many times you should be out there. And I will say 7 days a week. Now, does that mean that you have to post 7 days a week? No, you can actually schedule some of your content if you want. I don't schedule my content, all of my content. I do have team that work with me and they will schedule some content, but there's a lot of personal content, like, messages that I share that are in real time. But I do my best to keep myself visible 7 days a week. So I think 7 days a week, I think, and some of you that are doing stories, that's so easy to do. You just do a story. And stories are great because right now, Facebook and Instagram are actually pushing stories. They want to keep people on their platforms and they're pushing stories. Stories are not part of the feed, and the algorithms are not involved. So on your personal page, obviously the algorithm is involved. On your business page, we all know that you have to advertise. You have to buy Facebook ads to get anyone to go back to your business page. But the stories, they promote the stories. They push the stories. So if you have a solid communication plan, why not just put a story up every day? A really cool story. A picture with a message, and start to tell your story. Start to talk about your business, your life, your mission, your strongest viewpoint, really position yourself with storytelling, because now they have a feature called stories. Okay. And then when do you buy it? Okay. This is my favorite. When do you buy it? So you create something, right? And you're not sold on it. You created it, but you're not sold on it. And most of the time it's because the ego is involved. And I'll use myself as an example. So I wrote a book. I wrote a beauty book many years ago. And I landed an agent in New York. And they basically told me I didn't have enough followers. I wasn't famous. And I needed I think they said I needed 100,000 on my Twitter or something like that. So, of course, you know me. I said, well, maybe I shouldn't do a beauty book. I should do something else, right? So I started writing other books. And the funny thing now is I'm looking at the beauty book going, you know what? Maybe I should do the beauty book. And I shared it with my friends and they thought, why not? You could self-publish it. You don't need some big New York, agent to publish your book. You can publish your own book. But here's the deal, you see, because I wasn't sold, right? They weren't sold. I just forgot about it. But what if I would have just published that? I could have self-published that book and I could have taken it to market, because you can't be sold until they buy it. It's up to the customer until people buy. And that's what happened with selling in stilettos. When I started selling it in private, behind the scenes, women were buying it. Women were getting results and they loved it. And then I realized, okay, I can make this a big brand, but I have to do it a certain way. I have to communicate the value of this offer. So that's why, again, you can't be too attached. It has to be aligned with your purpose. You have to be focused on the consumer, your client, your customer. Like, that's why right now, I'm in my heart of hearts. I mean, I'm really feeling like message makeover is actually going to take over, because I just see too many women stuck, and I see too many women that invest in programs and they lack communication skills. So we just have to get real and look at what's not working and stop falling for, I'm going to say it, the glitz and the glam, because some of those programs, that's all they are. They're not backed by substance. They entice you with the numbers, they entice you with the lifestyles, they entice you with the pretty pictures. That's another reason I sort of boycotted pictures. Because I thought, I don't want to be compared to those people. I just, I'm here to do great work. I have substance, I have style, right? I have strategies. So that's the piece that I really want you to get, is make it about the customer. And when you make it about the customer, when you really focus, you put yourself out there, and you know what? You're going to take some bullets, okay? People are going to, I talk about it, people have said some not very nice things about me and my brand, and my picture in the red dress. Oh gosh, absolutely. I've heard it all. But now, because I have something of value that I now know is of value, I'm willing to put it out there, and I'm not worried about what other people think. Because every week, guess what I get to do? I get to create a message for someone. And they go, wow, that was amazing. And they take it to market, and it changes their business. So why should I be concerned about someone not liking my red dress or my picture or the gold leaf in my branding? Like, really? I can't be concerned about that. So what you create is not as important as what you do with it. Because that book, that beauty book that I created, it's where is it right now? It's actually, you know where it's at? It's actually in that bureau, okay, right? And the manuscript is all tidy and everything tucked away. It's of no value. I created work that's no value. It's not in the market. It's not being distributed. No one gets to read. No one's reading my beauty tips. And these were like beauty tips that I learned out of beauty college. But that's because I wasn't sold. And because I wasn't sold, I didn't give anyone the opportunity to buy it. And that's what a lot of people do. And we should stop that. So thank you so much for this training. And I just wanted to add, okay, so here it goes. Day 1 and day 2, it was a Sephora gift card for those of you who are willing to participate. And today and tomorrow will be Amazon. And then Friday, those of you who do all of the homework, it will be a gift certificate to Luxury Shoe Club. So there you go. How about that? You see, I started off with beauty, business, and then I end with fashion. Love it. Okay, I think that's it. I just want to make sure I'm looking over my notes. You should see my notes. I actually have 2 pages because I printed out a black and white, and then I printed out a color. And I didn't want to mess up the color one because I wanted the color one to be the one that I use, right? And I thought, okay, I'll make all my notes on the black and white one. Well, guess what happened? I'm sitting here with a black and white and a colored copy, and I'm going back and forth. And I want to make sure that I covered everything. I think I did, but I'm not perfect. Never try to be perfect. So I'm sure you can forgive me for that. But if you have questions, comments, aha moments, you like the sound of a message makeover, please DM me, message me. We'll talk about a message makeover. I'll give more information about message makeovers tomorrow. And again, get out there, share your message. You know, I've given you a lot of ingredients, right? Pieces to start thinking about. Post it in the group, right? You don't have to take it to the streets. You don't have to take it to Facebook. But what you can do is you can post it in the group, share your message, and see how it lands. And maybe people will like it, maybe they won't, and you can start to tweak it. But it's important that this is it. This right here, I want to compare it to fashion. I don't want to say this is the thread. Maybe this is the fabric. Maybe this is the fabric. This is the fabric. Okay, that's it. Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow, actually, guess what? We're going to talk about selling. Social selling. I'm going to break down the engagement sequence. The ever so popular engagement sequence. The engagement sequence that's responsible for me making money. And when you learn how to do it, guess what? You're going to make money too. So there you go. Alrighty, that's it. I'm going to sign off. It's about 3:15 in Los Angeles. And for those of you listening to the replay in Europe, I really, really, really appreciate you listening to the replay. And I will be back tomorrow, and have a great evening. And I'm going to leave with one of my quotes, because someone said they like my quotes. Discounts are for the mall. Life is not meant to be lived half off. Bye for now.